Horror games are scary to play by yourself, especially at night. But just like watching horror movies with your friends, playing them with a buddy or two can make the experience less daunting. So, don't miss out on the 10 best co-op horror games that you can play with your friends on today's video. Watch until number 1 because I think you're gonna like it. Number 10. Resident Evil 5 and Revelation 2. The third-person Resident Evil games are not known for their scares, but they still offer an incredible fun co-op experience that allow you to shoot and cooperate your way through the hordes of zombies. Resident Evil 5 takes you through the streets of Africa as you go after one of the most iconic antagonists in the video game industry. While Revelation 2 is about investigating a conspiracy with the daughter of one of the key characters from the first game. If you like horror with a little bit of action on the side, it's time to give them a try. Number 9. Dying Light. If you're looking for an open world zombie game but aren't into clunky experience like DayZ, then Dying Light is what you need. It's a first-person zombie survival horror game where you and a friend can survive together by taking on a large number of unique threats and completing story quests together. One of the best things in Dying Light is when the night comes.
I'm late.
The zombies start acting like dog when it seems a mailman it doesn't recognize, so you have to do most of your stuff at daytime and run for your life using cool looking parkour at night. And with a sequel just around the corner, after a long period of development hell, this is the perfect time to get into Dying Light. Number 8. Distrust. Don't be fooled by this game tops-down perspective, because the game makes up for these visuals by offering something scarier than ghosts: your friends. It's a procedural generated survival horror game where you have to rely on your friends to escape, and you will encounter different types of threats. However, your friends can betray you to prioritize your own survival, and you keep losing your grip on reality as the game goes on. So it's not as easy as it sounds. Number 7. The Forest. The Forest is an open world survival video game where you and other players have to work together to survive a land full of threats and cannibals. You gather resources, build shelters, keep yourself warm and secure, and fight mutated enemies that will strike fear inside your hearts. The game even has a story in which every player can complete a certain set of missions to find their missing son. But you can keep acting like your son doesn't exist and skip child support too, don't worry. Number 6. GTFO. GTFO is a game that follows a proper structure instead of just throwing you and a bunch of monsters together. You have to work together with other players to solve puzzles, fight the monsters, and figure out a way to escape the place. The game is considered quite hardcore due to its difficulty, and players cannot survive that harsh environment of GTFO unless you act like a team. Like the tagline of the game says, work together or die together. Number 5. Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, he ain't coming back.
Despite being called Left 4 Dead, this game has not been Left 4 Dead by the player base even after over a decade since it originally came out. It's one of the best cooperative survival horror shooter games with zombies that you can play, and it has aged better than wine. There are tons of enemies, weapons and levels to play through. Plus, you can betray your friends if they get too annoying and destroy your friendship too. Choose your character, take your weapons and open the door. Let's kill some zombies. Number 4. The Sea. The Sea is all about breaking friendships, perhaps even worse than the Rainbow Road from Mario Kart. You play as a group of people trapped in a facility, and you have to follow a set of rules to escape the place through cooperation. However, some of the players are secretly infected beasts and can kill the innocents and prevent their heroic escape. The best part is that no one knows who is the monster. So the game is all about tricking your friends into believing you're innocent and then breaking their trust harder than the sound of heavy metal. Number 3. Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is a name that is impossible not to hear in the world of co-op horror video games. It lets 4 friends play against one bad guy who will hunt them down no matter what, while the good guys try to find their way outside of the hellish nightmare. You can play as many different characters and many different villains, and they all have unique abilities that set them apart. The game also has a tons of crossovers all the time, so you're very likely to see your favorite horror movie, video game or TV show icon as a playable character sooner or later. So if you ever wanted to be a demented killer instead of seeking therapy, this game should be exactly what you need. Number 2. Phasmophobia. While a lot of horror games are about survival and often give you the tools to fight the threat on equal terms, Phasmophobia lets you re-experience what it felt like to turn the light off in your room and run towards the bed without screaming for an angel. It's a great first-person horror game that immerses the player in the world, making you and your friends discover supernatural spirits and then regret doing so, using things like EMF readers, Ouija boards, spirit boxes and CCTV cameras. And if you have a VR headset lying around, the game is even scarier to experience. Number 1. The Blackout Club. A lot of horror video games either have no story or only bits of it to set up the atmosphere. But the Blackout Club is like a fire in the dark. It has a great atmosphere, beautiful art style, engaging gameplay, and lore that would remind you of popular shows like Stranger Things. You play as a gang of teenagers who try to investigate disappearances of children, and you use things like graph hooks, noisemakers, drones, and other things to prove to the adults of the town that something sinister is going on. Of course, it's not as easy as it sounds, since there's a mysterious threat that will try to stop you, and it's often invisible. No, it's not the children's imagination. Or maybe it is? If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. While you're here, go ahead and click one of these other 2 videos on your screen. See you there.